Hey, it's Brad from backcountryskiingcanada.com, and today we're going to talk about the Tecnica Zero G Tour Pro boots, this boot right here. So a few years ago we reviewed the Zero G Tour Pro. I'll put that link down below and in the video so you can click on that and read the full review of the boot. As well, we also reviewed the Zero G 105 skis from Blizzard, because Blizzard and Tecnica are one and the same company. You can also read that review. Prior to that review, we also reviewed the Tecnica Zero G Guide Pro boots, and that was 2016. So that was the predecessor of this boot, and it's come a long way since. That boot was 200 grams heavier, used a different material in the construction, and it also had 11 degrees less cuff rotation. So this is a much better touring boot. It's come a long way in the past few years. Highly recommend the Zero G Tour Pro boots if you're into ski touring. All of the boots, there's three in the family. So there's the Tour Pro, which this is, the Tour Scout, and then the Tour. All three have a 99mm last, so they're a fairly narrow fit boot up front. If you have a narrow foot, they'll fit just great. They have Vibram soles underneath, so lots of good grip, whether you're scrambling on a ridge top or you're just trying to navigate the cafeteria in the lodge. Nice traction on these. They have low-tech inserts in the toes and in the heels, of course, for touring. And they also have a built-in tongue spoiler. So on the tongue, there's a spoiler there. And you also have some spoiler shims that you can put in the back. So you can throw those in the back of the boot if you need more forward lean as well. This boot does have 4 magnesium buckles, and they all have hiking positions on them, so you can open them up and keep them open for hiking, which is great. The other thing that they have is what Tecnica calls their CAS, or Custom Adaptive Shape technology. And what this is it's a better fit out of the box. It's an anatomical shape that they use for molding this boot, and right out of the box it has a better initial fit. But it also has, you can see here, these little dimples here and here on both sides. So you got them in the forefoot and around the ankle bone here. And what these are is these are there for heat molding. So it's a little bit less surface tension there in the boot, and so it facilitates heat molding customization, which most boots we need to fit our feet, because we typically have different shaped feet, one to the other, and then also different people as well. All models also have a 55-degree cuff rotation. So if we pull this out of walk mode and we open up the buckles, we've got a really good range of motion on this boot, forward and back, 55 degrees. Sizes in this boot are 22.5 to 30.5, and that's on the half size. And this is a size 27.5. I'm a size 10 shoe, so this is the one that fits me the best. So I just want to go over the 3 different boots in the Zero G lineup. As I mentioned before, this is the Zero G Tour Pro boot. This is the highest level. It uses a Grilamid shell and a carbon co-injected cuff, so it's a very light construction. It's got a 130 flex, so it's very stiff, and it has a light fit liner inside with Reco. It weighs in at just 2,640 grams, or 5.8 pounds for the pair. That's for the size 26.5, a little smaller than this one. Retails for $849.95, which is Canadian, and $899.95 US. The boot just below that one is the Tecnica Zero G Tour Scout boot. It has a 120 flex rating, so not quite as stiff as the Zero G Tour Pro boots. It has a light fit liner with Reco as well inside the boot. Uses a Grilamid shell and a polyurethane cuff, so a different construction on the cuff, a little bit heavier. The weight is 2,720 grams, or 6 pounds, and that again is for the size 26.5. That boot retails for $749.95 Canadian, or $799.95 US. So you save about $100 on that boot, because it is a little bit heavier and different construction and a little less stiff boot. Then below that, you've got the Tecnica Zero G Tour boots. Those have for a 110 flex. They have a light liner, no Reco, and they use a polyurethane shell with a polypropylene cuff, so a little bit heavier construction. That weighs in at 3,010 grams, or 6.64 pounds, and that again is for the size 26.5. And that boot runs $649.95 Canadian, or $699.95 US. So you've got 3 different levels there. And I shouldn't say that one is better than the other. If you're into light touring gear and you want to have big days, then obviously the most expensive one, the Zero G Tour Pro boot, is in my mind the best one, because it's going to be the one that has the highest, has the stiffest flex rating and also the lightest weight. When you go down from there to the Zero G Tour Scout and the Zero G Tour boots, they get a little bit heavier. So not to say they're not as good of a boot, but if you're not as technical of a skier or more advanced, then you can put up with, say, a little bit less stiff boot and maybe something that's a little bit heavier. So if you're just getting into touring, you may want to start off with Zero G Tour boot because it is a little bit easier on the wallet. This one is $200 more than the Zero G Tour boot, so quite a difference in the lineup, but there is something there for everybody in every price range. And also, if you like a boot that's not so stiff, then you'd start with a Zero G Tour boot and maybe work your way up. I go for the 130 Flex. I like something a little stiffer that can handle any of the conditions out there, so I've chosen the Zero G Tour Pro boots to ski in. And those are the 3 levels in the Zero G lineup. So the Zero G Tour Pro boot is the stiffest and lightest touring boot in Tecnica's line. There's no compromising on performance for weight. So this is a really lightweight boot, but it still performs really well. 130 Flex, I mean, you can't beat that. A lot of other touring boots on the market, they will go so light that they can't get that 130 Flex, and it's just a little bit sloppy on the down. And this has a really good flex rating. It's a stiff boot, it's an advanced boot, and they don't compromise that when they got it this light. So it's a really nice boot for touring. And that's thanks to the Grillman shell and carbon co-injected cuff. Inside the boot, we've got that light fit liner, and that comes with a waterproof breathable membrane, so it keeps your feet drier, more comfortable over time. A lot of brands will skimp on the liner and make it really, really thin because that's where they can save some weight. But this boot has a liner with a really nice, beefy, warm construction. It's not been skimped on at all, so it still provides that support and that warmth that you need. The overlap 4-buckle alpine design on this boot, so you can see on the shell we've got this overlap construction on the forefoot and also up high here, and that's what gives it a really stiff 130 Flex rating, and that's coming from the alpine world, which Tecnica is known for, and it works really well to give you that stiff high performance ski down, but it still has that 55 degrees range of cuff rotation for walk mode as well. And that is achieved on the back here. So the ski walk lever on the back here is really innovative. When you change over from ski to walk mode, as soon as you flex the boot, you can see that up at the top here, it just popped out there. You've got a locking mechanism here where it bolts into the boot here, and also at the bottom. So there's a 2-position locking mechanism. It just went back in there. And then on the bottom here as well, you can see that when it goes in, there's actually a little lock mechanism here that locks it in. So it's stiff. It's got 2 points of connecting there. And what I really like about the lock feature on the bottom here is, like other boots, unlike other boots rather, it's locked in there. It cannot slip out. So when you're touring, that will not come off. And I've had experiences with other boots that this ices up as you are boot packing or in the snow. You get a little bit of snow in there, it ices up, and now when you try and lock that down, it doesn't actually lock in place. And I've been skiing and you flip in from ski mode into walk mode, and suddenly you're in the front seat and kissing the tips of your skis because you no longer are locked in into ski mode. So this ensures you're locked in. It cannot come out until you disengage it. So a really great design to use on this boot. The other thing I want to talk about was the power strap, because most power straps use Velcro. This one is just a simple hook system. There's no Velcro on it to wear out. You adjust it to what you need for your size of your boot and the tension you need, and you latch it back in. And then you can also adjust it by pulling on that as well on the strap, and then you can release it by pulling on the string here. So it's really easy to open and close, fast to get in and out of, and it won't wear down because there's no Velcro on it. And it's nice and light as well. On the bottom, we've got Vibram soles, as I mentioned. Great traction. They're also rockers, so they're comfortable for walking. Really nice boot for walking from the car to the parking lot to the lodge, and then also when you're walking around in the backcountry and scrambling on those ridges. So the pros of the Tecnica Zero G Tour Pro boots are they're crazy light, super light touring boot, but they still provide that 130 Flex rating, which is impressive. The Alpine overlap construction offers great support and performance, and that double locking cuff is really innovative. Nice to have that security because you won't switch back and forth inadvertently when you're skiing. 55 degrees cuff rotation, as mentioned. You don't need much more than that. It's a really easy boot to walk in when you've got it in walk mode in the backcountry. And then a nice spacious toe box on the front as well. It is a 99mm last, so suited for narrow feet. I've got a wider foot, so I do have to do some boot fitting when I get into this boot. Luckily, it's got the CAS shell that is easy to boot fit. But overall, a really light boot, stiff flex rating, comfortable, just a touring machine, and I highly recommend the Tecnica Zero G Tour Pro boots. Read the full review on our website at backcountryskiingcanada.com, and you'll find everything else backcountry there. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on the boot, if we missed anything, if you liked the review or hated it. And also please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out a lot. And click that bell icon and you can get all of our videos. You won't miss anything. You'll get notifications to let you know when a new video comes up. So thanks very much.